Hello, 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 hello. It's me, George F. Grundy II, your favorite veteran, and I am here and I am presenting a new show. Out of the Mud presents The Mind of a Combat Veteran with a combat veteran, Mr. KP. How you doing today, sir?
What's happening, man?
You got it.
I appreciate you having me on. Say something I do every day.
Right. And I appreciate you for accepting because it took about a year.
See, see. But yeah, man, yeah, this is a big step for me. I'm an outgoing person, but at the same time, very personal.
Yes, sir.
For many reasons, but yeah, man, it's a pleasure to be on here, and everything that Out the Mud is doing, I think, is pivotal and important to our community, period. So
Right.
thank you.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Throughout the years, when the big homie linked us up, man, we've been talking about many different subject matters and I believe we kind of helped each other get through different spaces in life for the last few years.
True.
And I'm gonna give a big shout to the homie Lou
Oh,
for
man.
for the introduction and just it's certain people that they don't always get my personality on certain levels,
Right.
but you one of those people that I don't feel like I have to. I give a more of a relaxed version of myself.
It's everybody don't connect with vets, especially if we've been in combat, bro. I can hold it together, but I get a little emotional talking about it because we suffer in silence.
Mm-hmm.
We do some of the most courageous things in the world in silence, in secrecy. We could tell people true stories about ourselves in the flesh, and we really did that and was there, and we'll get a response like, "Man, you're right. You ain't do all that. Shut your ass up."
Right.
And after you take that on the chin a time or two in the early stages of you just returning back home, most of the time you just shut down. And we don't come across each other every day also, because think about it. I know I went into Iraq 6 months after the initial invasion.
Now, when was that? Break it down to folks
Okay,
that don't.
so we talking about the timeline back in 2003. And we're talking, like, if I was to give you the whole story, I was actually in Kuwait on a 5-month training exercise when 9/11 actually happened. I was coming off of guard duty.
So you were already in the military.
I was not only in the military, but I was in the Army, Big Red 1 Division, HAC 134 Armor. They disbanded and put them back with the rest of the elements in Germany. But headquarters company, 24th Mechanized ID. So everything was on tracks. We were all tanks in personnel carriers and whatnot. And I was actually in Kuwait, 40 minutes away from the Iraqi border when that happened.
When it
popped off. I literally, so as you know from being in the Marines, I was in the Army, but we share this thing where we end up on our working days are never 8, 10, 12 hours, bro.
At all.
Our working days are 16, 18 hours, sometimes 72 hours.
24-hour call.
24-hour call.
For 2 years.
Right. So I had guard duty for like 18 hours. I come off of guard duty. I'm just dog ass tired. And I go back to the tent because, like I said, we're in the desert and we're in Kuwait. A lot of people don't know, man. You're damn near on the equator. So we're talking about a place that's 112 degrees Fahrenheit at 12 midnight. Okay.
The devil's armpit.
Yeah, the devil's armpit. You know what I'm saying? And you freaking get off of guard duty. You're dog ass tired, so you pass out. And you're laying on your cot, and because of the cycle that you're on, the work cycle, people are up when you're still asleep and need to be asleep for like another four hours or so. So I'm laying in my tent and I'm coming out of my sleep. And you remember back in the day, grandmothers or uncles or something, they would listen to movies on the radio. You ever heard
like the War of the Worlds type
yeah,
stuff?
Yeah. So back in the day, a lot of people know about this, but there was a time period before TV came and took over everything. Television took over everything, right? People used to get their entertainment just sitting by the radio.
Right.
And you would basically be enjoying a movie with no pictures. When I tell you I woke up, faintly out my sleep, hearing all of this pandemonium, I didn't open my eyes to see where I was hearing this from. Well, then I tried to go back to sleep because I was tired as hell, and I just kept noticing I was feeling energy around me. So I woke up somewhat, and I look over, and everybody is huddled around this long range radio that my platoon sergeant thought it was cool to have an old school long range radio.
Gotcha.
And everybody has these like ghostly, lifeless, fearful, what the hell is going on looks in their faces. Now, G, I gotta tell you something. I was in a combat. I was in a combat infantry outfit. These guys are not easily scared or terrified. Right. They're kind of.
That's what they trained for. It's what they signed up for.
Yeah, they kind of.
They're looking for it.
These units that I'm speaking on, man, if you were to psychologically classify them and actually talk to these people, especially back in the day when we were in there, sound like the old timers now, but when we were in there,
you sound really, really old right now with the old radio and everything.
Yeah, man, look, yeah, man. It was
younger.
It was early 2000s, man. Y'all gotta understand, man. Old technology was still prevalent back then.
He's Anunnaki, so he changes everything.
So you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sitting there trying to understand why are the people that I know that I serve with, why they got these faces that look like somebody, somebody snatched their lunch money and ain't gonna ever get it back.
Right.
And so I start waking up, but I'm still hearing all of this pandemonium off of this radio. So when I tell you we have been in the desert for a couple months now, it's like the third or fourth month. I'm trying to remember. Something like that. We had 5 months to be out there. So
okay.
We had kind of gotten, jailhouse syndrome. We stuck out in this desert and all that stuff. So I literally thought that we had gotten so bored that we literally were now to the point where we're getting entertainment off of radio movies. And I'll never forget this. I heard the guy on there say, "It's pure pandemonium down here. I can't really describe to you what I'm seeing. A passenger plane appears to have literally went inside of Tower 1. And when he said Tower 1, I'm not from New York. For some reason, it registered. Like, wait, a plane, Tower 1. We only got a few buildings in our country that are so tall, they refer to them as a tower.
Sears Tower,
the World Trade Center. Yeah. It ain't too many more past that. So, like, when they're saying the tower, something wouldn't allow me to dismiss this, so I woke up more. And when I saw my platoon sergeant, Sergeant Thorne, shout out to Sergeant Thorne,
Most definitely.
that was that motherfucker. Anyway, when I seen one of the most who's hardcore ass motherfuckers leaned into the radio, and dude, he even had the look. And he was leaning in and he was cleaning his M16. And me and him, we didn't really have a good relationship at that time. Like, I just knew this man hated my guts, and I was a young private.
What was your rank at the time?
I want to say I was PFC.
Yeah, he was supposed to hate you.
So, you know what I'm saying? So, and I was real sensitive little dude. So I was taking it personal. I just thought this dude just hate my guts, right? So we didn't talk directly because you really weren't supposed to do that, especially back then. It was all go through your chain of command. You're not to talk to me unless you talk to your sergeant.
You want to grow up, huh? You want to get, you got some rank on you, huh? Where have you been? What have you done?
You want to jump the chain of command, huh? So, I kind of, something was weird about this moment. And so I didn't even fear asking him because everybody was so shell-shocked and melancholy. I just knew something was up. So I was like, Sergeant Thorne, what's going on? And he looked at me. And Sergeant Thorne never looked at me the way he looked at me. That man looked at me and he said, somebody flew planes into the World Trade Centers. And when he said that, this is not movie magic, ladies and gentlemen, my stomach dropped until it dropped, and like I went numb. And the first literal thought, I didn't think nothing else, not my family, not nothing else, not about people dying. First thing that came to my mind was, are we serious right now? We're like 40 minutes away from the Iraqi border. And you telling me we didn't just had planes flown into a World Trade Center? First thing I was saying in my mind was, yep, I guess we about to go get them on. We already here.
Time to go to work.
So we literally all put in our minds that we were going to be having a formation and they were going to be telling us we were going to have to go back to Camp Doha and go get the real equipment and strap up and get ready to follow a task force into Iraq. Just all this went in my mind right then and there. I don't even know who the hell flew nothing into the damn. I don't know anything, but that was the first instinct.
Right.
To wrap it up, I think it was like 9 months later. We were starting to see strange things once we got back to base, and we were hearing rumors, but we didn't get anything confirmed. They told us that we would be going to NTC around August-ish. Well, to bag up, they declared war in Iraq in March of that year. They grabbed 3rd Brigade, Old Ironsides at the time. They grabbed some of them to attach them to 3rd ID out of Fort Stewart, I think, at the time.
Gotcha.
The broken television. That's their patch. They got those stripes like television on the fritz. Okay. And they attached those guys to those guys, and they sent them, and they went into the initial invasion. So we're going like, oh, damn, we ain't getting no action. Okay. They sent 3rd Brigade. All right. War usually happens kind of fast. So, we probably ain't going to get none. We had been training them up from when we came back from Kuwait. We were training them up the whole time. So, we figured it was normal operations. And then they told them that we were going to combat in March. That went on and that happened. Long story short, though, a couple months later, they told us we were going to NTC. For anybody that knows, NTC that's the National Training Center out at Fort Irwin, California. It's located close to another training ground. 12 Palms? Is it?
I didn't get to go to Hollywood. I was all on the east.
Oh, okay. So this gentleman here, he didn't get to go bite the dust with the rest of the Marines. They get to go bite the dust. I
went to the real Marine Corps. I was in the island. I was in Paris.
See, you see how this gets. See, when we get to talking about this stuff, just let a Marine have his way when he tell you this shit.
You know what Army stands for, right? You do understand.
I want to hear this one.
You know what it stands for?
Let me hear it.
You know what it stands for.
No, I don't, because a Marine telling me what the Army stands for.
I aren't ready for Marines yet.
That's the best one I heard yet.
Yeah. So,
Hey, I'm going to tell you something, man. We talk shit, but when it comes down to the bullets flying and mortar rounds coming in and artillery going out, it ain't nobody you going to want to be in the foxhole with other than the guy that takes his job just as serious as you.
Yeah.
And when I tell you, to skip forward, when I got to Iraq, there's a lot of firsts that happened in my stint that wasn't technically recorded because there was a lot of craziness that went on in my stint when I went. I'm going to be honest with you. There are just some things I'm not going to disclose and not going to talk about.
Understood.
I'll just say I didn't know this at the time. I didn't understand it at the time, but we were extremely close to operators. And if you don't know what an operator is, I'm not going to go into it just because.
Look it up.
Yeah, look it up. Google it. We're at a very sensitive time with security right now in our own country. And so there's only so many things I'm going to be able to really go into. But I'm going to just say this. I worked with Marines out of Cherry Point. I worked with, we even worked with some of the Air Force. We never got to see them guys, but there was a system they came up with back then that people take for granted now called a QA-17.
Okay.
And they first deployed it when I was in Iraq, which is, it's a grid system that allows you to pinpoint incoming fire. So within 10-mile radius, if anybody shoots off anything, I'm talking about if it's a firecracker, it will pop up on the radar. The A-10 will run it through his system, then bounce it back down to whatever coordinated systems that we have that we're taking in the information. So how we did was our field artillery guys with the Hollisters, the 155 artillery on tank tracks.
Yep.
Okay. They have an onboard computer processing system, right?
Okay.
They can link in to any other network of communication so far via any branch.
Right.
So they can take fire missions from anybody, including the Air Force. And when I tell you the computers talk to the thing and it starts moving and adjusting its leverage and its aim, just all on its own.
Yep.
And then let you know, okay, I'm ready to send one down range. Well, all of that kind of stuff was going on when I was there. That was all relatively new. And when I tell you, I had to pause because I have to try not to go into certain thoughts.
Well, don't get so deep that you
No, man, it's just one of them things. I just started talking about all this stuff probably like maybe 3-4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? It's been like over 20 years down there. So
and let me digress you for a minute because we got like 4 minutes left. So the whole point was to kind of talk about the aftermath of and to have conversations of those things, the things that you deal with when it comes to the VA system, things you deal with when it comes to life as a civilian again.
Oh my goodness.
And dealing with relationships and things of that nature. And this is a great beginning because, you know, for you to have been on the ground in the zone where we had to respond to after 9/11, it makes this even more incredible. But because it's so real, I know that your reality is something that needs to be covered and not agitated. So I appreciate you for even speaking on it this much.
Right.
But it's a real thing, man. PTSD, anxiety, depression, and physical ailments, they're all super real things when it comes to being a veteran and putting yourself in a actually signing paper saying, yes, I will, and going somewhere and like, what did I just do?
It's a thankless job, bro.
Yeah.
It's a very thankless job. And just to skip forward, so when you come back, depending upon your personality and the job that you had, I was a combat medic. So when it go boom and somebody say, Doc, I'm up.
So when they're down, you got to get up and go get them.
Oh man. So it's a little more intense than that because I'm rolling with the line units. So it's a straight action. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just be a Band-Aid. You got to be a soldier first. You carrying 276 rounds with your M16A2, with your 80-pound A bag. That's if you're dismounted. If you're mounted, personnel carrier, got a big red and white cross on the side of it that's basically like a target on you. And you got to keep up with the tanks like your football. But when you get back, nobody cares about none of this stuff you had to do, right? That's probably the hardest part. You got to somehow maintain self-esteem while everybody treats you like your regular Joe Smo. You don't, and mind you, when I came back, I came back at the end of 2004. And when we got out the Army, bro, it was jacked up. We had 762 people getting out of a system that was designed for 55. I never got that packet that you're supposed to get with all your resources. 6 months to find resources on my own. The PTSD was horrible.
Did you realize what it was?
You know what's sad is I knew I was going to end up with a form of it before I even went. I researched it. I was one of them crazy guys, bro. I went to some of those vet spots where they have a little liquor and the old VFWs, yeah. Like and I went and I talked to. We were able to come home for a hot little second, and I went to 2 of those places, and I just asked random guys like, "So when were you in the shit?" And they told me, and I said, "Man, I'm gonna be heading to Iraq, man, and I don't know what to think of it." And you know, the realest thing dude told me, he said, "Fall back to your training. Don't be looking on the ground. Keep your head up, and always look forward to going back home."
Gotcha.
And you got that. And he also told me, he said, you got to really make up in your mind. Do you want to come home alive or do you want to come home in a bag? He said, if you don't want to come home in a bag, you got to be willing to put anybody you got to in one in order for you not to come back.
Period.
He said, and don't question it, because how many men really going to have to make that decision that you're going to have to make? And when he said that to me, I don't know, for some reason, I just had in the center of my spirit that he knew what he was talking about. And I took that energy with me and I never let it go. Yeah, I prayed 4 times a day. You would have thought I was Muslim. You know what I'm saying? But got back here, it was like you was trapped inside your own body, bro. I remember you broke something down to me what it was like. It's like being trapped in a basement, 4 corners, and it's like 2 or 3 of you in each corner. And you're trying to get up them steps. The steps is a symbolization of you stepping away from the darkness of which you carry with you from what you already did. And then the you being in the corners is you being isolated with your back against the wall because nobody else knows what this is that you're going through or you're feeling. To skip to now, it's 20 years later, I think what's deep is when I go online and you look on YouTube and you have a couple of pretty high profile guys that have been in combat, man. Some of them operators and shit. They get to talking about what they go through. And when you realize that you are experiencing or have experienced the same thing, then it starts to kind of level out what level of crap you were in. I can't even talk to the guys that went several years after me because, dude, they were staying in barracks and living and eating chow hall 3 times a day. We almost got starved out a couple times because they were hitting the convoy so hard. So, you know,
and let me add that to it, because so when it comes to the difference between me and him, what he's saying, I was third wave, so we were dogging there saluting on in the combat zone when I got there. When he was there, that means that it was the wild west. There were no rules of engagement. It was just make sure you come back home kind of stuff. So when he's speaking, and then the stories that you'll probably never hear that he's allowed me to hear, is this man has survived some significant stuff. You know, I would love to have him and Cole and Vila here, and y'all just talk about y'all experiences as much as y'all would like. It's amazing what y'all don't understand and what y'all don't know. It's amazing how you never understand, you know, what, even though he looks like nothing's wrong with him, he has a battle each day and each minute, each hour, just to move forward. And that's why, for me, it's very important to make sure that Out of the Mud and Veterans Are Now continues to keep the voice of veterans alive, well, and strong.
Man, and I got to comment on something because I want to tell you this on air. Straight up, man, bottom of my heart, from many veterans. You also battle them demons that we all battle. And I want to tell you, you are a beacon of light to a lot of veterans because you still show clear examples of tremendous courage for you to go forward, to create an organization. You've dealt with so many put downs. You've dealt with so many roadblocks. And just like a Marine, man, y'all don't know die.
Herp.
Y'all don't know lose.
Hoorah.
Y'all don't believe in that shit.
Yep.
And y'all kind of like, this is what makes y'all, see, this is what make a Marine crazy. When things look like they're impossible and things look like there's no way, the Marine gets tougher and leans into that and runs uphill and into the wind. It takes those kind of people to move the bar in this world. Those are the people that make the things happen that benefit all of your lives. And they never get seen. And you know what I'm saying? I'm just one of them people, man. not to make a joke out of this, but it's literal and it might be funny to some people. Man, I done buried so many damn people. I'm so tired of people getting their flowers when they laying there dead as hell and can't sitting there with a grin on their face that will not follow with no laughter, man. So I just want to make sure that I share it with you now, you know, in front of the whole world, however many people end up viewing this, that you a hell of a man for you to even be able to just, I think sometimes the gift and the curse of being a person of service, we be so busy serving that sometimes we'll neglect ourselves for the mission.
It's always for the next man or woman next to you or behind you, man. Period. Man. You know, I've been homeless a couple times because of this veteran stuff, not understanding what I was mentally going through. So I'll be damned if I allow somebody behind me to deal with what I dealt with. And I was contemplating suicide. I was contemplating what the hell did I went in here to get better and do better, man. And I come out and y'all treat me like crap, man. So what is this about? So I digress because you know,
it keep a veteran blood pressure high, man.
Yeah, it's something else. It's a whole different world, whole different space. So I again appreciate you coming in and making it happen to have this conversation. We just had another veteran just walk in. He's a vet.
Okay.
Did you have serve in some combat situations?
Yes, I did. When I actually went in to
come on around. Come on around here because since we talking about some veterans.
Yeah, we on the fly just like in the service. On the fly.
Sit right here.
Go ahead, brother.
No, that's not my brother. That's my son.
You a vet too?
I'm not. No.
Okay. Yeah. You got the ones and twos. Yeah. So introduce yourself real quick.
My name is Antonio Scott. You know, I'm from Lansing. I served in the military for about 6 years. I was actually stationed in one of the biggest naval bases in the world, Norfolk. I was on the USS Sylvania.
Okay.
You know, so I've seen a lot of the military. When I joined the military,
what was your job in there? You was in the Navy?
I was in the Navy.
Okay.
And what's crazy is I was an LN.
Okay. And what is that? That job?
What that is working with the JAG officers. So
okay.
You know when
you keep up with the administrative stuff with the personnel.
Yeah. It was
like
it was crazy because you know when I first went into the military, I wasn't thinking about what I was going to be doing or anything. I had a son at 19.
You just trying to get some stability?
I was just trying to get some stability and take care of my son, like a lot of people in the military was going.
Okay. And looking for the benefits.
That's it. When I was looking for the benefits, when I you know, when I got into the military, because I was young, I had a young family.
Okay.
I had a wife at the time.
Okay.
When I first got in, I went straight overseas. So it was crazy.
What was the first assignment?
The first thing that I did, I was it's crazy. I was stationed to the USS Sylvania, the vigilant provider. It's what that is it's a supply ship to the
I know what you're talking about.
To the my blockade and everything in there. So when I got on there, I didn't realize like a lot of young folks, you know, you say Navy, you think about ships and all of that types of stuff, but you don't think about being away from your family for 6 months at a time. And,
right.
Not being with your loved ones and that's hard on a family. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Okay.
You were in the military too?
Yeah, I was in the Army back in 2000 to 2004. I was a combat medic.
Right.
Big Red 1, Division 1, 24th Mechanized ID, and HAC 134 Armor. So it was a tank battalion.
Right.
Everything was on tank tracks. The infantry was on tank tracks jumping out of Bradleys.
Right.
Like you said, when you first go in the military, and I think we all kind of can, we have an idea, we think.
Mm-hmm.
Then we go in there and we realize that there is so many intangibles in the service and each branch and how they work and connection and what it do to you when you in the experience of it and when you get out.
All of that.
So they told me I was too motivated for the Marine Corps.
What? What you mean? You was gung ho?
Because my brother, he's a veteran. He's a Marine Corps veteran also. So, and I went at 29. So I joined. I was 29 years old when I jumped in the Marine Corps. So I'm anticipating some Flint type stuff. Right. I'm anticipating getting jumped. I'm anticipating fights. I'm anticipating all this stuff. Right. And I get there, and it's a lot of people saying stuff. But the physical part
wasn't happening.
So I'm saying, and it had to catch, because I got in so many fights in boot camp that they threatened to kick me out of the Marine Corps and then sign papers to say that I couldn't join any other branch. I got in 2 more fights that night. Man, that's crazy. And it was all because people was threatening my life, and I'm taking those threats literal. Like when you saying stuff and then you telling me you gonna kill me or you gonna whoop my tail and all this, I'm like,
you feel like that's what it is,
right? Because all I know is if somebody said they popping a trunk, and then I had to realize ain't nobody got no guns around here. They all locked up. Like these people just talking.
This had to catch up.
Yeah,
I could relate to that only in this aspect. When you come from Flint, you know you from Flint. If you haven't traveled all over the world and shit yet, you don't really have something to compare it to. So you figure, we know we got some kind of tough guys, we got some misfits, and then everybody else just trying to be everyday people. But we don't be realizing how gangster it really be getting in here. We kind of just take that in. So when we go into the service, like he was about 10 years too late. If he had been in there 10 years before then, they would have been like, hoorah!
That's what I thought.
We got us.
When you said,
God damn it, Grundy, you ought to become an OTS officer.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
I said that you are the type of people that they want to catch you at 19.
Yeah.
They want to catch you at 20.
Yeah.
They would, because you was gung ho for whatever. You went whatever.
I tried to go to MARSOC. My body was like, you fooling me. so I was training up to do MARSOC, and for anybody that don't know what MARSOC is, Marine Corps Special Forces. Mm-hmm. So I was, and it's like you have to do your PT times 2 or 3 plus a swim qual just to qualify for that stuff. So I'm up here training, trying to get right, and my body I got cramping up all day long, all night, trying not to cry in front of people because I'm in pain, because I want to be an operator. My tail wants to be an operator. Why? I don't know. I just want to get deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. I'm in the rabbit hole now, so let me go deep into the rabbit hole.
You would have made a great one.
So it was about 8 guys that followed me.
You'd have made a great one.
And I think 6 of them actually made it to MARSOC. So, yeah. So, yeah. So I got guys that watch me even when I don't know they watching. They randomly, Grundy, I see you. You better keep it together. We still watching you, type stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, why? Like, so, but when I was motivated in a lot of senses, and I appreciate all my guys and girls that I was served with. Where was I going with this? I don't even remember.
Man, you know how this goes, man. You get to sit around and talk.
This is your show. So this is the introduction to KP.
All on me.
This is the introduction to KP. This is going to be the KP, the mind of a veteran, mind of a combat vet. And this is going to be his new segment. I'm hoping that you come back, man.
I will. And I'm going to come back more organized. We're going to kind of stick a move.
Because, man, the VA,
no Diddy on the right situation.
Because the VA, I got some bills the VA supposed to pay. They ain't paid. And I need you to help me out there, Mr. KP. How do I navigate this stuff? How do I have community care that ain't being cared by the VA? I don't get it. And, I try to help veterans do stuff, and I'm getting beat upside my head myself.
You know what? It's kind of like I gotta teach you the Mayweather defense system, because I'm telling you, you gotta use the shoulder roll on this stuff, man.
I
It gets
look like I
slippery.
about fell out the chair.
Hey, I tell you what, you committed to something, and I kind of like seen you from afar commit to it, and I wanted to come in on it before, but you know how we do, man. We be battling things
all the time,
and we always trying not to make it somebody else's problem. And I think we get into a space now that it's about all hands on deck. We I could sing the kumbaya, we gotta all come together and stuff, but it's about action. And you took action, and that motivated me to take action.
Awesome.
And then shout out to our big brother Lou.
For sure.
Lou Walker. Love you. You done kept a lot of us afloat when we ain't know we was sinking. So, man, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to you.
Hey, Lou is one of the real ones.
Man.
I mean, look, hey, Lou called me for anything. I don't care what it is. That's it.
Straight up. He Marine too, by the way.
Simplify.
That dude, he one of the smoothest dudes that you would know, that you wouldn't know as a Marine until somebody get to try to get kind of aggressive, and then that's where the gangster shit come out. Nah, man, he's a wonderful dude, man, because he's done a lot for his community. And I think this is something we touch on real quick, man. I realize all the people that talk about what they do for their community. I want all the veterans all over the world to hear this. I'm looking at the camera. I want y'all to know that I know how much you do for your neighbor, for your block, for your building, for your neighborhood, from wherever you are. I just want you to know that if nobody else seen you, ain't said nothing, I see you. I ain't got to know you to love you. I love you because I know what you done put on the line. And I ain't have to be there for that either. I don't care if you was the one filling out my paperwork so that I can get in and out the combat zone or theater. That's how they said. I don't give a damn if you was in supply and you just gave me a change in uniform. I don't care if you was in support and I had to pick up my beans and my bullets from you. I don't care if you was a mechanic. I don't care what your job was. I want you to know that you're the most important thing in the world, and it would not have worked if you weren't there.
And you need it, want it, and please keep fighting to stay here.
When I tell you, it will be times where you'll be like, literally, you'll sound like Barry White on that commercial outro when you be like, fuck this shit. And you just be wanting to be done. But remember how many times you said that when you was enlisting, you didn't give up. I need that same pain that we be trying to run away from. I learned that it's a trick, because you be trying to run from all that pain and all that different stuff that you went through, all those experiences. Man, that stuff galvanized you and turned you into something that these civilians just are not. And it's not for you to be ashamed of that. Yeah, I know you feel awkward. I know you can't connect to people. I know trying to be in relationships is difficult or next to seem like damn near impossible. I'm going to just say this. Take the time to learn to love who you are, who you've become.
Accept it.
And accept the changes. Don't look at it as deficiencies. Because that's what we do to ourselves after we come from the shit. We keep looking at everything like we did on the battlefield, man. And we look at ourselves like we are a property and a product. And we look at our deficiencies.
And survivor's remorse.
and survivor's remorse. And I'm a combat medic. I didn't even realize I was suffering from survivor's remorse. You know, I we had they was raining in mortar rounds into our camp like the snow falling outside. So it was like 36.
So KP, before you get too long, he got his show coming. So we got I'm gonna give you 2 more minutes.
Go ahead.
He about to start a sports show. This is gonna be the first sports show on Out of the Mud. So
what?
2 minutes.
So we gonna segue to some athletic shit then.
Well,
we
gonna cut the show in 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes. Last
all right,
word.
so just to get it all wrapped up, man, this is what we got.
He's gonna be back, y'all.
So I will be back, because if I don't, Grundy gonna have me in a headlock, and Marines got some nice headlocks, man. You don't want to be in them. So you know what I'm saying? I will be back. I'm gonna be more organized. We're gonna pick some topics. We're gonna stick to topic. We kind of jumped around today. I want to let you know that I am purely elated to have this opportunity. Thank you for all the people that will eventually tune in. And I need feedback from veterans, constructive feedback. I need to know some of the things that you want covered, you want us to talk about. We're going to get on tangents all the time with veterans, so we're going to get on tangents.
Well, we got about 200 people that don't watch so far. About 100.
Okay.
And 10.
Okay. So, but yeah, and we got another veteran that says he's about to start a sports cast here.
Yeah.
So
And
we need to talk about that.
So again, we appreciate you for coming to Out of the Mud and allowing us to take some of your time. And this has been the mind of a combat vet with Combat Vet KP.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We're out.